Did you turn everybody back up?
Yes, everybody's back. On the attack. Cutting no slack. You don't know, Jack. I'm just going to start our thing.
Megatron must be stopped, no matter the cost.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autopod Decepticast, your bi-weekly podcast that delivers an episode-by-episode breakdown of the original G1 series. This is episode number 130 of the Autopod Decepticast, and today we'll be covering episode 26 of the G1 series, season 2, an episode titled Enter the Nightbird. And guys, I don't have an intro, but remember that time I set Ryan on fire? I don't think we've talked about that on mic.
Have we not?
Unbelievable.
Sure we have. Really?
I don't think so.
I think we have.
I checked my notes. I couldn't find any evidence of such a thing.
Control F, Ryan, fire.
Yeah. You remember those times, Ryan?
Yeah,
Caleb,
we have
do you remember those
photo
times?
documentation.
Yeah, I took the pictures.
We need to put that up on the... Well, you have it as your avatar,
Yeah,
actually.
He's like, says I'm actually on fire in this picture. That's
On my Twitter avatar, yeah. That is the picture Caleb took of, we're in our early 20s.
Yeah, let me give a little background, because I think I started it. I mean, I definitely started the fire. It hasn't always been burning since the world's been turning. In this situation, yeah, early 20s, we'll say 22, 23-ish maybe. And
we were all
after
living together.
a night of revelry downtown, drinking, I had a lady with me, and I had
What could be more romantic?
managed to get her back to my house where I lived with Ryan and Caleb, and I think
Don't
Ryan,
say managed to get her back.
like,
She came
using my charisma and
She'd
skills.
been to the house before.
Yeah, she was a known quantity.
yeah, it's fine. She came up. We all came home.
And well, I don't think Ryan went out with us. I
No,
think he was
'cause
just a
I don't.
homebody drinking at home. Caleb and I had went out. We get to the house, and it was definitely early in whatever you would call this relationship, and I was trying to be cool and impress her somehow or another, and part of my head was that a really wild, crazy person would be the type of person that she would like, so I'm going to be a wild, crazy person. So we were having a conversation out on our front porch, a drunken Ryan and Aaron and Caleb. I, at some point, said to Ryan, would you let me set you on fire for $20?
And I was like, yerp. And here's the fucked up part. I was also trying to impress her.
Oh, you son of a bitch. Well, mission
It's just, I'm like, oh, it's...
And my
Listen, it's a surprise to me that any men make it out of like late adolescence because of the like, oh, what could I do to impress a woman? I know, emulate myself.
well,
my reaction to
Immolate.
the situation was, stop. Let me go get my camera.
Caleb, at the very mention of setting Ryan on fire, Caleb goes and digs out a nice camera.
Yeah.
Ryan and I commenced negotiating the terms of this.
Yes.
$20. What does that really mean, and how we execute this? And what we came to, as I recall, we were both very drunk, was that I donated some clothing to you so you could wear extra layers.
I believe I had 2 pairs of pants and two shirts on, both short sleeve.
two T-shirts on, basically.
Yeah.
We also then negotiated how much gasoline, which was the fuel that we
The
used,
accelerant.
how much gasoline I would spray on you, which we decided like 2 or 3
2 splashes, I think.
splashes out of the old gas can that was in the garage next to the lawnmower.
God, I didn't even put any like Vaseline on my skin. No protection.
We also negotiated the amount of time that Ryan had to run around before he could stop, drop, and roll,
Right.
which we got to. He had to count to 5 1,000 before he could stop, drop, and roll. We go to the backyard. The 3 of us and this lady, we follow the terms of the agreement. I give him a couple splashes of the old gas can, and then I lit him up, and he, and when I say lit up, he immediately.
It was like the Human Torch flame on.
Yeah.
It was crazy.
It was a huge fireball, just burst right off of him, and he counts to 1,000 as quickly as I've seen anybody do. I remember, and then he drops to the ground, but he doesn't roll. He doesn't stop, drop, and roll. He drops to the ground and then just starts flailing like a bug on its back with his arms and legs in the air. And we realized pretty quickly this fire is not going out. And I hear Ryan say it was like this high pitched. I'll never forget it. It was like The Fly. He goes. Help me.
Listen, I will say this. It's not, we've all been drilled in the head with stop, drop, and roll. When you're on fire, it's not that easy to like
think about it.
think about what you're doing. And so, yeah, in my mind, that's what I did. But really, I'm just like turtling back and
that's right.
forth on my back.
So Aaron
I
runs
ran over there.
It's hard not to do because that's where the flames mostly were. So
It
it's
was on
hard.
your back. It was on your back.
Yeah, mainly.
Some of it was up on your neck.
I did singe some of my hair, yeah. And so my thought was like, I'll smother it just by going back and forth instead of
The
just,
flames were mostly on your back.
yeah,
but
instead of just rolling, and it wasn't happening. And I'm like, I'm gonna need some help.
So Aaron came over and
I beat the shit out of him. And we got the fire out. And it wasn't until a few minutes later, Caleb, that we realized that we have a hose
Yeah.
and water that we should have had at the
did not.
ready.
We certainly did not.
And we didn't.
Not at all.
But it's all documented, and we'll put that out on Twitter.
I took pictures from the second he got on fire all the way down to when he got stamped
They're
out.
great pictures.
They are.
Because the last one is me smoldering and Aaron giving a thumbs up.
I think you have a picture before it happened also.
Yeah, just
having a cigarette
Yep.
or something
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
back porch.
Yeah.
And that was that story. And I just realized that the female being there is completely meaningless to the story. She doesn't even need to be there.
Except that without her,
Well,
it probably doesn't happen.
That is true. That because she's not in any of the pictures. But yeah, it was just a
God,
stupid
men are
like,
so
way
dumb.
To way to
Yeah, it was
act
crazy.
like macho or something.
Yeah.
If you go,
The fucking Y chromosome is a garbage dump.
Yes. So if you check out Ryan's Twitter profile, his profile pic is the picture
The man on fire.
as him on fire.
Yeah, Aaron gave me a gift.
Wow.
He blew up and framed
that's
some
right.
of those pictures for me. It says mistakes were made.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
I can't believe we did not have a hose.
I can't believe I didn't die.
I can't believe we set him on fire.
Yeah, and it was just casual. It was not even like
was just
there was no like maybe we shouldn't do this. We're like that would definitely be
Knowing
fine.
us, it was probably like a Wednesday night. You know, it was like, whatever.
You need a little excitement.
So the worst
midweek.
that happened to me was some of the hair got burned off of my calf, and I got a little burned off the back of my neck. Otherwise, I was fine. Unbelievably.
The picture, the photograph of you that the instant you caught on fire, there are flames coming
In my
from
hair.
the back of your head.
Yes. Yes. It was
We
terrifying.
are really lucky that we didn't really
Oh, yeah.
fuck up.
There's an alternate universe where
Where you're in
Ryan's
jail.
dead.
And I'm making
I'm probably getting out of jail by
No,
now.
you're out by now.
It was just manslaughter.
You probably got like 2 years.
Yeah.
I probably made a lot of money selling the pictures to the press.
That's right.
Yeah.
The Springfield Press would have just paid through the nose for that hot.
I feel like it would have gone national.
I think you would have done time because you would
I
have
was
been
complicit.
culpable.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was totally complicit. Totally complicit.
might have got out a year
So
earlier than
stupid.
me.
That's and that those images. That was on. I went and got those pictures developed. This is pre-smartphone, digital even.
This is film,
it was
yeah.
film. Yeah. So
So he had no idea what he was capturing. Like,
Nope.
yes,
Didn't know
And they
until,
were all great.
Didn't know
Yep.
until I went to the 1 hour photo and got them back. They were on black and white film, and
Classy.
they looked gorgeous.
And luckily,
and it
we
was
got-
a manual camera. It wasn't like an autofocus.
So 35 millimeter.
Yeah, it was great. Yeah.
well. Way to go, Caleb. Way to journalize that
You photojournalisted the hell out of that.
debauchery.
Yeah.
And we'll put that out for fun for everybody.
For a fun little
to
cautionary
see.
tale.
Caleb, I feel like you have an update on your
You feel?
aunt.
Oh yeah. As a
Story.
matter of fact, I do.
Oh,
No.
please. This is your 100-year-old aunt that we.
So yeah, so when we were doing the recording with the More Than Meets the Pod, during the recording, I had to go during recording, and I just left my earbuds in. We did a drive-by parade for my aunt, my great aunt, I guess, and she turned 100, and she gets around just fine. She lives on her own. she drives. Speaking of driving, though, so she went in the other day and had to get her driver's license renewed. And when you get to a certain age, you have to do we have to redo a vision test.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they told her that she has to do a vision test and she has to retake the driving test.
It kind of makes sense.
Yeah. According to my parents, who they'll help her out sometimes, take her to the store. They say her vision is really poor. Like she should not be driving. They said.
God.
She drives a Suburban. She somehow passed the vision test where you look into the thing,
The viewer.
But on Monday, today we're recording on Saturday. On Monday, she has to go and take a driving test. And my parents say there's no way she's going to pass it. No way she's going to pass it. And she's like, well, I've got to try. You know, her driver's license says that she was born in 1920. She's 100 years old. So I'm
Do you get a special driver's license? I feel like if you were still able to drive, you should get like a gold-plated driver's license.
Well, if I'm curious, I'm conflicted. In a way, I want her to pass the test. Mm-hmm. But
you know
way,
in your heart that there's
she
danger.
probably shouldn't do it.
Right.
My parents, she's gonna drive herself on Monday in her Suburban over to the over to City Hall, and an officer will get in and she'll have to try to parallel park and drive. My parents say that she can't see. I'm really.
They were really hoping it didn't come to this.
Right.
They were hoping the vision test was going to cancel her out.
But so we'll see what happens on Monday, and I'll let you know on our next recording if she manages to pass the driving test. I'm curious if she will be the oldest licensed driver in town. That would be a 100-year-old woman still legally able to drive.
If not in this state.
But she is aware there is a chance that she may be denied this privilege.
Absolutely. No, she knows that, but she's very independent. She wants to be independent. Who doesn't?
Yeah. I mean, if she can pass that driving test, I guess.
Technically.
Is it really like she slipped through the cracks? Maybe we're just not giving her the credit she deserves.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
We'll find out on Monday.
Yeah. So I'll keep you posted, but
and the listener posted.
So she'll either end up with a driver's license or a non-driver's license.
In which case, I guess your parents will have to take her around.
That's the thing. Yeah, they're going to have to help out more, drive her around and stuff. Because she's still,
I need you to take me to the sex shop, Colin.
She texts.
I need to get a new dildo.
I knew you guys would go there. I knew you guys would go there.
A pocket.
They have Bluetooth ones now.
She texts and everything. But when you look at her phone,
I can't stop her from texting.
When you look at her phone, her font is the biggest it can be. Like it's like 2 letters per screen.
Oh God.
So she texts. My mom says she walks faster than her at the store. Like she gets around. It's pretty remarkable. She's awesome. Her name's Lavinia, and she was born in a log cabin that her parents built, and here in town.
What a crazy ride she's been through in the past century.
Well, a lot has happened between 1920 and 2020.
She's old enough to have banged FDR.
At least giving him a handy. I heard he liked that.
Sorry, Lavinia. Please forgive me.
Text me.
I'm Ryan talking.
Ryan must be stopped.
I'm trying to think if she'll probably be alive for the election. And if she does, I'm trying to think how many presidents she's been able to vote for. Because she born in 1920, that put her at 18 years old in 1938. So
FDR.
She's been she's been voting in every election since FDR's second election. Second election. Mm-hmm.
Well, let's do the math. How many years?
FDR.
That's how many voting occasions, presidential voting occasions. Divide those years by 4, so something around 20 presidential.
So she's been in the FDR, Truman. FDR. I don't have to list all the presidents.
I'm gonna do it. FDR, Truman. Ike, Kennedy, Nixon, or no Johnson, Nixon.
Well, did Johnson get reelected?
No, that's right. He didn't, but she was alive through that. You're right. So we'll say Kennedy, Nixon, and then the next election was
Johnson.
But
he wasn't.
Then the next election would have been Nixon, and then
Ford,
but Ford wasn't elected either.
Oh, Nixon.
But Nixon was reelected. So then you've got the election of Jimmy Carter.
Right.
Then you've got Reagan.
Bush.
Clinton. Bush. Obama.
That's at 10, and then
Obama.
11, 12.
Yeah.
That was a pointless exercise, but
Yep.
I had to do it.
History
OCD,
nerds, I'm
OCD.
sure you hated that.
And they're also probably like, I think you also did the math wrong. That's 13 presidents.
So I'm just saying, she was our age in 1962. There you go.
Wow.
All right, Ryan.
All right, let's make this move on.
You got a cocktail?
You got a cocktail for us? Maybe something that Lavinia drank back in the day?
It's it's right in her wheelhouse because this book was in the 1930s. So
She would have, yeah.
Is she a teetotaler, though?
No, she drinks. She's great. Like she goes down to my aunt's house, the aunt that owns this house, and they have they got a lot of money and they buy a lot of expensive wine. And Lavinia, she'd ask for some wine and she'd say, "Yeah, I like some. Give me some wine. I don't want any of that cheap stuff." But you, Aaron, I mean, you waited on Lavinia and her husband Victor at the country club.
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
they were at Twin Oaks,
Yeah,
so you're very well aware that.
Yeah,
they,
I think I can even picture her.
they drink. I think Victor used to get out on the golf course and drink I don't know what he was drinking, like Tom Collins or something, and he would get pretty lit up on the golf course. He was a dentist, and he was like Nick's first dentist. He started his dental practice here, and then he went started the park. He was one of the founding members of Parkcrest.
I'll be damned.
Victor,
Yeah.
he was always a nice guy, really great.
Yeah, I remember them as being sweet, and I don't remember how I came to know that you were connected to them, but I remember every time I'd wait on them, they'd bring it up, and it was nice.
So Lavinia's husband, Victor, was my grandmother on my mother's side's brother. So my mom's uncle was Lavinia's husband.
Okay.
And so he only died like 2 years ago. They were both 98, and they had been married at that point for 78 years.
Holy shit! Wow.
Yeah. So he died, and he got some pneumonia, and he died.
Well, I guess
He was 98. He had a pretty good run.
It makes sense to me that you'll outlive Ryan and I.
I don't know, man. I don't even like to talk about that shit.
Whoa.
No, the
I'm
men.
sorry.
The men on my the Carter side, like the grandfather here, he died when he was 64. We have a genetic.
Your dad's had his chest cracked
Yeah,
open.
we have a genetic heart disease as a problem.
You'll probably get yours cracked open, and I'll be there for you. Well, good for your aunt. That's all. I'm rooting
We'll
for her.
see.
I hope
in a
she
weird way, I am
passes the
too.
test.
I just hope that I'm not driving around and she hits me with her Suburban.
Okay, this looks beautiful, Ryan. What do we got?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Yokohama Romance Cocktail.
That sounds questionably.
Well, I picked Yokohama just because we have a Japanese scientist.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And this one, as you know, is a recipe from those fucking weirdos that wrote this book, A Jigger Beaker and Glass, a century ago. And I just kind of was trying to find one that was, from the island of Japan. And I'm not going to read anything from it because it's casually racist in a horrible way. It sounds like a bartender in the place fixed him this drink gratis because it was a new concoction he made up, and they got hammered, went out in the street, and coerced some poor locals into giving these white men their bicycles, essentially stole them. Yeah. And then, if I read between the lines, and then wrecked the bikes on some rubble left over from an earthquake in 1923. So, the Yokohama Romance Cocktail is 2 jiggers of old cognac, a jigger of cherry brandy, a quarter teaspoon of Rose's lime juice, and the juice of a half a lime. Shake very hard with fine ice and serve with some of this left in. Frozen in the mixer, tropical style, is still better. Serve in a big saucer champagne glass.
And that's what you've done.
One more time with the ingredients.
2 jiggers of cognac, 1 jigger of cherry brandy, a quarter teaspoon of lime juice, and the juice of half a lime.
Sounds like it has the makings for greatness. It's good.
It is good. It is tropical and refreshing. I can't see drinking enough of these to get hammered, but it is all booze, basically, except for the lime juice.
They must have been really pounding them. And then they get on those bicycles.
These guys sound like a group of real assholes.
Yeah, they do.
It's red, and there is like that citrus kick, and the cognac actually
It looks grapefruity.
is curiously subtle. I think just because it's so cold.
I'm feeling it.
Yeah, that's really good. Oh, This might have to be a drink for like some kind of one of our summer parties that won't happen until next summer because of the coronavirus.
I mean, we'll always have COVID-21 to keep us down.
It's true. It's going to be endemic now.
Last episode recap. Megatron and Torque 3 brought us all to our knees. Slave Circuit's taken over all Earth's machines. Till Prime and the dinos charged in like rhinos, lit their ass up quick like sunburned albinos. I need to get my rhythm, my cadence down. Decepticon oil rig is defended. B-Team is apprehended. Torque 3 dead. Plan is amended. Take a fast hydrofoil to save the crude oil. Mystery solved. Arthur Conan Doyle. Join us right now as we discuss episode 26 from season 2. Enter the Nightbird, written by Sylvia Wilson and Richard Milton, animated by the fine people at Toei.
I was going to say a woman, but they did add a male writer just to make sure she doesn't make too many references to babies or menstruation.
Yep, there's only 2 menstruation references in this episode, so I guess they did their job.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, well, we open up.
Don't make me horny.
Jesus. I don't think anybody can make you horny. I think people can only make you not horny.
Yeah.
I think you just exist.
Ryan,
You can
in
make
a
somebody
perpetual state of
No,
horny.
we're saying
No,
we're
no,
saying
no,
we're
no.
saying you.
You can make me specifically?
Yeah,
Yes,
you're just
we're
horny
talking
all
about
the
you.
time.
No. You could make me horny against my will.
His face
No,
of
we're
delight.
saying you're always horny, but we would just have to work to make you not horny.
Oh, I see. I don't.
show you some pictures of some dead seals or something.
Oh, what?
There you go. Good job.
High five.
Yeah.
Don't high five that.
No, we're not high fiving the dead seals. We're high fiving that it's possible
They're
to
in
make you
there.
not horny.
Opening it up. We're at Autobot headquarters. Wheeljack and the bros are welding up some quote-unquote detection panels they're gonna keep everybody safe by setting off an alarm when they come into contact with metal.
Okay.
So I guess they're always going to be going off.
So my first, yeah, right. But when I first saw this, I thought, okay, well, this is not going to work, because who's the one that usually comes into the Autobot base to check out and cause problems?
Laserbeak.
And what does Laserbeak not do?
Walk along the ground like
What
a
he does
turkey.
do is
Correct.
Well, I had that later too. Like this, like you guys said, this immediately falls apart. First of all, everything in the fucking place, including the people who are walking on the ground, are made of metal, and all the Decepticons fly.
Yeah.
And I thought the way they introduced this, you think it's gonna play a lot bigger role than it does in
is
in
a
the
throwaway.
episode. Like, here's a new invention. Finally, an invention that's gonna help us, God forbid, secure our base.
Well, that's what I thought.
Oh my
is
gosh,
like,
this is great. We finally are doing something proactive to defend ourselves and keep people from just walking in. But in the meantime, we need to come quick, Optimus. Famous scientist Dr. Fujiyama needs us.
it is again, like I said in the last episode. Dr. Fujiyama calls Prime, and Prime seems to know him.
Prime knows all the scientists.
Well,
in the
he
world.
sees Prime is like he knows everybody. He's like Paris Hilton.
Yeah, he's a personality.
I mean, if Prime is on the scene, like, he's the kind of guy that would have hung out with John Lennon and Elton John and David Bowie in the 70s, just
Yeah.
having a raucous, crazy time.
Doing speedballs with John Belushi.
Fuck yeah. Mm-hmm. Just like bending the rules of society and having fun, but setting the culture.
Yeah, that's right. I think Prime totally would stay at the Chateau Marmont when he would go to L.A.
Would he
What's
eat
that?
at the La Maison?
No, it'd be Mamazon.
Mamazon,
Hanging
yeah.
out with our good
Orson
friend
Welles.
Orson Welles.
Ah, yes.
Having a roll.
Yeah. Please continue.
I just thought the way they framed it up was funny. In fact, it's so I didn't realize
Famous
it until after-
scientist.
famous scientist,
Yes.
Dr. Fujiyama,
Fujiyama.
and I'm not the only person that thinks that's notable, because when I was doing my follow-up TF Wiki research, that is how his entry is labeled: famous scientist Dr.
Yes.
Fujiyama. But
Well, it'd be like if Stephen Hawking called you. Famous scientist Stephen Hawking. Mm-hmm. I guess scientist is, a vague term. I mean, it'd be astrophysicist, but yeah. Famous roboticist Dr. Fujiyama.
Fujiyama's got a good physique.
Yeah,
Look at his
so good.
shoulders.
It's a nice suit.
He does
Yeah,
lifts.
It's a nice suit.
He's got a big tie.
Yep.
Fujiyama needs the Autobots' services to guard his latest invention. The Autobots want to know more, but he's worried the Decepticons might be listening in. But I'll tell you guys, here's the deal. Fujiyama's invention is the greatest robot ever designed by a human. Prime's interest is aroused, and he agrees to come to this unveiling.
I like how Fujiyama he like looks side to side and leans into the console.
I do love
this
this side.
secret.
Yeah. He's afraid people are
Do
listening.
you think anyone's listening? And who was it that responded to him? Ironhide. Mm-hmm. Ironhide should have said, "Oh yeah, most definitely." They're
I know.
listening in because like they're like
That's
playing
what
it
they
off,
do.
Like they're playing it off like no way they're not listening. Statistically, there's like it's like a 90% chance.
Well,
that
Ironhide says it's not too likely, but
no, it's historically
80% of the time
it's
there's a Decepticon
highly
in their
likely.
headquarters.
It's so likely that Ironhide came in and shot at a hologram of Laserbeak.
Yeah.
It's just another fucking Tuesday.
Ironhide should have said, "No, no one's listening. We got these floor panels that we just put."
I
in."
did. I missed a note on the floor panels that this again, Aaron, was from the TF Wiki when I went after doing my notes. It says, recording the floor panels, they react to anything. Therefore, they make us safe from everything.
A couple notes I had. I guess the Autobots are just running a security company now. Is that how they're making
They should.
money or
so-
Energon? Or-
Sure, they should make some money.
Well, yeah, I mean,
But we don't know that
I
they
guess
got
it's
paid,
true. I feel like they're doing it gratis, but to help out the doc here. But they would be good muscle.
Yeah. I guess they don't really prove to be very good muscle later on in the episode.
Well, not against the Decepticons, but they're good against humans
Yeah.
attacking.
The Autobots scoff at the concept of a highly advanced human-engineered robot, but still, they're going to guard this robot and protect it from the Decepticons.
Are we at the point where we're in the stadium yet?
We're getting
not
ready to
yet.
be there.
Okay.
But we are at the point where we're going to talk about how Fujiyama is totally Michael Bell.
Yeah, I didn't know when you wanted to talk about that.
I mean, now's as good a time as
It's
any.
unfortunate.
Should they have gotten like a Japanese person to do the part?
Either that or not do an accent.
Yeah. I like how he addresses Optimus as like Mr. Prime.
I like how they all sort of know a little about Japanese culture, but not really.
He like leans. He's got a pin in his pocket.
But a little bit because Prime bows to him as they sign off.
That's
Right.
pretty cool.
But he doesn't know about ninjas at
He
all.
doesn't.
He's got a Sharpie in his pocket.
It
Yeah,
does look
yellow.
like a yellow
A yellow
Sharpie.
Sharpie. Dr. Fujiyama's got a yellow Sharpie in his pocket.
It does look like a yellow Sharpie.
Dr. Fujiyama's got a Sharpie in his pocket.
What is that?
I don't know. Cool. They do bow. That's cool.
Yep, they do.
Maybe they just know the basic greetings, like they read the book.
Of
If
cultures.
you're going to Japan,
Like
you
the
bow
Voters
from the
Guide.
waist at
Yeah.
a 45-degree angle. Try to match the person
The
that
Transformers
you're
can
bowing
probably
to.
just like
It's true.
If they have an ab crunch, which is a big deal in the toy community.
Oh, what's an ab crunch?
An ab crunch is a point of articulation that allows them to
bow.
Bend
bow.
over?
Yeah.
Hmm.
And it's a relatively recent development, but if you don't incorporate one now, you're not seeing
insult-
your engineering. isn't
Everybody will burn your house, your warehouse to the ground.
Yeah, Ironhide and Wheeljack, they're laughing. They're like, human robot.
Woolbits.
I like how
But Prime's aroused, so he's going to make sure that we're all going to go
Okay.
see the unveiling. We've transitioned to the big unveiling. We don't know where it is, but there's palm trees. So I'm just going to say it's Irvine, California. And inside, it looks like a big modern auditorium. We see a couple thousand spectators. I'm pretty sure one wouldn't be able to keep this under wraps from the Decepticons for very long, presuming they didn't know about it. But Fujiyama's robot is under a giant cloth awaiting its reveal. Again, Wheeljack and Ratchet's egos, they're out of
shit.
control with the hardcore shit talk.
They're throwing shade like it's sunny.
I've never heard that, but I like it.
It's Nicki Minaj.
Oh, fuck, now I don't like it.
Oh.
Fujiyama reveals the robot. It's Nightbird, the first female ninja robot.
Magnificent.
tremendous.
Very impressive.
What has been revealed is a ninja robot in a female form. She is really cool design, actually. A lot of blacks
It is a
and
cool
grays,
design.
some hits of purple and yellow. She's holding nunchucks in her hands, or would you call it a nunchuck?
Nunchakus.
Nunchaku.
Yeah, how about that? size on her
Forearms.
So I mean, it's a really cool design. I don't know why you would design this, but
It is true. Like, they threw everything at this thing. It's like when Homer designed a car. They're just like, what if we make a robot? What if we make it a woman? What if we make it a ninja? Like, what if we give her a bunch of fucking deadly weapons and then say she's not a weapon? Like, they say she's not an assassin.
female gremlin. I'm just going to toss one in for myself. Googly-eyed gremlin. That's it. I'm out of this bitch. Y'all write it up. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I didn't really cover it because it's hard to really get into it. But in the script, it's more clear as to he made a ninja assassin robot, or it's not assassin, a ninja robot to demonstrate like the robot's super ability, like agile abilities and the ability to make a robot be able to do anything. But they kind of throw that away and say, they don't say anything like that. He just says she's not meant for battle or assassinations.
Right. And you'd be
But
like,
we gave
why
him all
do you
their
make
weapons.
her? And why'd you make her a ninja to begin with? Then?
Yeah.
You could have done. You could have made her a gymnast.
It's a great point.
Q Spike, he's gonna fill the Autobots in, those ignorant pieces of shit, on what a ninja is, which is an ancient Japanese warrior capable of amazing feats of skill and daring. Assassins. But as we just made clear, Fujiyama said that is not her purpose. That's the Q&A that comes from the audience immediately. Why the fuck did you make this thing? Why did you call us here? Fujiyama says he's limited her powers. He just wants to show off her baller tech. She's meant to assist, not harm, or do battle or assassinate. Pay no attention, again, to the weapons that Nightbird has completely covering her body. And she has an infinite amount of throwing stars inside of her as well, which we'll get to later. The Decepticons, sure as shit, show up. Rumble frenzy. They shake things up.
The way Trailbreaker flies through the air after the explosion over the top of the crowd is very hilarious, even without the whoosh sound that they play. Play it.
Now, gentlemen, if I may.
Is that just me? Okay.
That was
I
pretty
thought it was
funny.
We do have a bit of a weird thing where Rumble's pile drivers are rectangular, but
they're square.
Laserbeak, while this is going down, is using his lasers to cut along the circumference of the domed ceiling.
Laserbeak comes in with a TIE fighter sound.
Yes, there's a lot of Star Wars in this one.
We have a literal
overly blatant Star Wars.
We have a literal lightsaber complete with lightsaber sound later.
Yes. We see a few tricks. Mirage attacks while invisible. Blue Streak and Prime take some direct fusion cannon fire. Eventually, Starscream completes the cutting. Thundercracker manages to Laserbeak completes the cutting. Thundercracker manages to pry the roof open like a lid, allowing Starscream to use a grappling mechanism to capture and make off with Nightbird. Oh,
Yep.
shit.
I had a couple points in that. We had another quick face-off between Soundwave and Brawn, which that is where...
That's a thing, right?
Yeah, it's a thing.
Okay.
Where Mirage actually steps in and saves him using his super effective ability. I kind of rationalize it by maybe it takes a ton of juice for Mirage to use it. We could have used like a throwaway line to tell us that, but I did like Megatron's line of Mirage, prepare to disappear permanently.
Yeah, I like that,
There's
too.
a lot of cheeky wordplay in this one.
It's pretty good wordplay,
honestly.
though.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Prime shot in the back, and can you play that back once? I wasn't watching because in my version, Mirage isn't there.
How far back?
Right there. Oh, he's not there. So
But that's Mirage. But listen to it sounds like Mirage's voice. Watch, listen.
yeah.
Whoa.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. I thought that maybe my version of the episode just didn't show Prime falling into Mirage, but Prime falls forward, but you hear Mirage go, but he's not there. So
It's Optimus Prime sounding like Mirage.
weird. So I don't know if we're supposed to meant to think that Mirage is invisible or it's just
I
a
think
mistake.
it's just a mistake.
Weird. Okay.
The Decepticons arrive at a new temporary base.
Yeah, looks
Not so secret looking.
I mean,
Pretty- not very
we get
subtle.
this infamous Decepticon
Does it really?
insignia.
I don't see why they have to be subtle at all. The Autobots know where they are. They
It's
just don't
true.
go do anything about it.
I don't know why you'd need the aesthetics of designing a temporary base. Is
They
there
also
any
had to
it's
spray
definitely
paint
a
it-
form over function type
They
thing.
spray painted it purple
Yeah, I mean,
because it's built out of the living rock of the mountain.
fuck it.
Is it?
I presume
No, I'm thinking they just they
plopped it down.
plopped it down there.
Maybe.
Either way, it's just like fuck it.
The design does seem off, though. It's not perfect. The collars of the Decepticon logo are all
Yeah.
off kilter.
They're pretty
and
janky.
whatnot.
But hey, they did it.
It's also though like you guys are just doing a lot.
It looks like a high school pottery class
Yeah.
version of a Decepticon
like
headquarters.
that cup I gave to you, Aaron. That is the
Yeah.
Autobot and Decepticon insignia.
Maybe
on
I
it.
should take a picture of that for this episode.
That was when my ex-wife still was a teacher, and she had access to being able to fire the kiln, and I could make a bunch of pottery.
Yeah. It's like somebody who maybe is out of high school that doesn't have much pottery experience gets access to some clay in a kiln
Through his ex-wife.
And makes a
through his ex-wife.
and makes a piece of shit thing that he gives to his friend, and his friend pretends to like it.
Happy birthday.
This is making me feel bad.
I can't wait for my next present that's yet to come.
Oh man, you're getting an Amazon gift card now.
I have that thing. It's on my. It's on the shelf. It's part of the
Yeah,
display.
it is. It's cool.
Come on. I love its perfectly imperfect.
It's like whenever your preschooler gives you a painting, and it's like, great. How long do I have to hang on to this garbage dump?
It's like outsider art, which is another way of saying it's a piece of shit.
What's the name of the art? The semi-famous outsider artist from Springfield.
Robert.
Yes. Anyway, his shit sucks. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, it does. People were like, "Oh, he's
Oh
from."
man,
His name is Robert Paulson.
Yeah.
it's not. I like the reference.
People are like, "Oh, it's yeah."
This crazy old mean man can make things that look like a child made them.
Oh,
Let's celebrate
yeah.
him.
Oh,
Wow. Yeah. Roasting Robert Blank.
Robert. I want to say Robert E. Lee, but that's not his name. It's like
No.
a 3-letter. What is it? Fucking Robert. I want this captured for posterity. He's dead, so it doesn't fucking matter.
So fuck his spirit.
Robert E. Smith.
Robert E. Smith.
I had the E right.
Yeah, you're right. You
Anyway,
did.
he sucks. And I had a few personal encounters with him, and I did not enjoy them.
Thumbs down on Robert E. Smith.
And then people are going to be like, I think that maybe he had some mental problems. Well, that doesn't mean he can't be an asshole.
It's true.
Anyway,
We're at the base.
we're at the base, the temporary base. Bombshell.
The temporary base that we've made an huge edifice of our own
Well, yeah,
insignia out of.
We're already through that. It's the temporary base that they made in pottery class. I do like the sound effects for their door that opens. Like play that back to get this huge door and then this shorter door. The sound effects crack me up for some reason.
And that must be a Star Trek sound effect.
Yes, it is.
Anyway, I thought it was pretty funny.
The bombshell is apparently the Decepticons'
fucking
version
maniac.
of Wheeljack. He's employed to reprogram and take control of the Nightbird, and he just loves warping minds from Megatron.
I had that note. That's what he says. And I thought Bombshell is basically the Decepticon Dr. Mingala.
That's a reference I don't understand. And
You don't know Dr. Mingala?
You're just
Who's
begging.
that?
You're just begging for the opportunity.
Okay,
to talk
Ryan,
about
who's
it.
Dr. Mangala?
He was the Nazi scientist who tortured all the people in the concentration camps. He was the doctor.
I like how you're saying this like, oh, why don't we know this?
Everybody knows Dr.
Actually,
Mangala.
if anybody should, it's you, Caleb.
Dr. Mangala is very common knowledge, I feel like.
All right, then let's just do a laugh track and we'll cut it in like we all understood the reference.
Oh, yeah, Mangala.
Mangala.
You fuckers.
So we've got
He died happy in Argentina.
the stories of Nazi societies in Central America and South America are incredible.
Yeah.
That is nuts that they built these full-on communities and were subjugating people that lived there also.
A lot of those
in,
people
in the Americas.
lived full, happy lives.
It is wild.
Ugh.
Okay, Nightbird is activated, throwing a kick right in Starscream's face right off the bat. You don't scoff at Nightbird.
Fuck no, you don't.
And it's time to send her on her mission, which is to steal, here's our new MacGuffin for this episode, the world energy chip from the Autobots, and also exterminate them while you're at it.
Yeah.
This world energy chip keeps getting leveled up of what it is, and eventually when we find out what it is, it's quite ridiculous.
And also there's going to be some typos that are funny that we're going to see later. I just want to capture Bombshell's.
Report progress on optic interface, Soundwave.
Almost completed.
Good. I love warping minds for you, Megatron.
Maybe that's not as impactful as I remembered it being.
I thought it was funny.
He took something out that was specifically designed to fit in her abdomen that looked like a cartridge, and then jammed something that looked like a football in its place.
Well, my impression was that he made that interface that would fit into as a chip, and then it's sort of like the CD, like the Genesis CD edition.
I see. It fits in the cartridge.
Yeah.
And then, but it's still big. Like, could you get the outer casing back on at that point?
I know that in the TF wiki it says it seems too big, but I think it seems perfectly reasonable.
Regardless, it works very, very, very well. I think Bombshell puts Wheeljack to shame when it comes to doing this kind of shit.
He did
Head to head.
Yeah, because he makes something that works really well.
Yeah. Wheeljack. I can imagine Wheeljack being, yeah, cram this thing in here, turn it on, and it turns on and it just explodes. Oh, that didn't work.
We're going back to Irvine at the destroyed amphitheater.
Yes, and right there at I think it's around 7:30. Aaron, you did a screen grab of that and sent it to the group text.
No, I did that.
You did that?
Yes.
Credit where credit's due.
Oh, I thought it was Aaron. I apologize. Good Lord. But yeah, and we're with Prime's hands palms out in supplication for the destroyed auditorium. Like, sorry. And I like that's a good caption. This.
Yeah, that's why I sent it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And we captioned it.
Yes.
Let's put it out in the world.
That's why I thought it was like that, because Aaron, I guess, was the first to respond.
Sorry I stole your
Are you
shine.
saying he responded to his own thing?
No, that's why I thought it was Aaron, because his response was underneath it. Like, you just sent a picture, you didn't send any message.
I did. I'm the one that actually sent the picture. Then I sent the word sorry.
That was his
Maybe
caption.
Maybe I didn't.
Sorry.
I sent the picture, and then I
think I got
captioned
this-
that motherfucker.
He didn't just say caption this. He gave us an initial caption.
Mine was the aristocrats.
That's
Yeah,
right.
that was
Then-
good too. I
and,
liked it.
And then I was like, oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, see, look.
Oh God, he's pulling out receipts, Ryan.
Look, mine.
Yeah, what does yours look like?
Why did I think maybe it's just because you so rarely do
But when I do-
Transformers related shit.
Yeah, but when I do,
It's the gold.
yeah,
It's gold, baby.
it's about quality, not quantity.
No, you're totally right. I was completely wrong.
So is that?
So we got it covered. It was Caleb. Caleb did it.
Great content.
I love when we argue on.
It's so pathetic.
On air.
It's so pathetic. Like the Autobots did nothing to protect this.
The one thing they were
Nothing.
hired to do
Yeah, they fucked
was just to
up.
keep the Decepticons at bay if they were to show
fucked
up.
Yeah,
And they just
they didn't even
handle
put up
it.
a fight.
No, barely.
They fucked up.
Yeah.
They're worthless.
Well, the Decepticons were better tacticians. I mean, think about this. They
How
were like
tactician-
They were like Laserbeak. You saw off the top of the dome.
Yeah.
Skywarp or Thundercracker. One of you guys crank it open like it can, and then Starscream. You're gonna hook that bitch and pull her up, and we're gonna go fucking get our shit.
I like at
together
this
and-
point they don't even explain in the episode how the Decepticons found out. It's just a given
That they
they're
know.
gonna find out and they're gonna know. Fuck
It's
it.
true. They never do address
No,
that.
fuck it. Like it's obvious the Decepticons are gonna find out.
I don't want the Decepticons to maybe
Yeah.
find
Looking
out
side to
about this
side.
plot.
I would have liked it if just Laserbeak was just on Prime's shoulder.
I don't think that's gonna happen around here.
It's Laserbeak's like looking at the monitor and then looking over at the floor panel warnings that they put, and then just and shaking his head like.
As we're gonna see later in this episode, Megatron has some kind of tech that allows him to spy on what's happening. So
everywhere,
and we don't
Yeah.
know exactly how that
Everywhere.
tech is employed or how it's embedded into.
Oh, Megatron and the Decepticons are hooked up to the animators' production. They know exactly what's going on at all times.
this episode's going.
We're at Irvine. Optimus Prime and Jazz are vowing to Fujiyama that they will return Nightbird. And he forgives them for easily losing the Nightbird because they never could have predicted this attack.
Even though that's why I contacted you, but all right.
I would be so pissed if I was Dr. Fujiyama. I'd be
Yeah.
so pissed off.
He's
I
very.
paid you guys $600,000.
Why
to
do you keep
provide
saying that he
security.
paid them?
Yeah, there's no payment involved.
Well, you know what? Then it's on Fujiyama because
Yes.
you get what you
You
pay
get what
for.
you pay for.
That's true. And he should have seen what's happened in the past with the Transformers.
He should have contacted G.I. Joe. Hell, he could have just contacted what's Sergeant Slaughter's team? The Renegades.
Renegades?
He should have just got the Renegades over here.
Or
It would've been insane.
just general bodyguards, or
I would
like a.
actually-
Or maybe by nature of contacting the Autobots, that's how the
That's
Decepticons
right.
found out about it.
If I was in his position, I would be like, no, do not contact the Autobots, because every time we have them do something, the Decepticons show up.
Yeah, I think we've got this down.
Yep,
Yeah.
nailed it.
But it's infuriating.
Completely. Mirage comes from around the corner. The damage report is not too good, Prime. No shit. The goddamn roof is torn off this fucker.
I like how they kind of like shittily try to fix it.
Do they even do
I think-
that?
I think
They
Allstate-
just fly away.
I think Allstate would call this a total loss,
Yeah,
and you
yes,
would
they
just
would.
let.
Oh,
insurance
I'm
take care
confused
of it.
because in the script they stay here and try to fix it, but
No,
it
they
says
don't- yeah.
but it says like not well. And when we see it later, the dome's kind of on.
Oh,
but
even in
it's
the
all
script,
fucked up.
even the script says they try to fix it and they do a shit job.
It does say they
just use
can't
duct tape.
they can't complete
Jesus
it.
Christ.
Yes.
The Decepticons are building like pottery bases that are okay. And the Autobots can't even rebuild a dome.
Nope.
They fucking suck so bad. Autobots suck so bad. Their base is a crashed spaceship in a volcano.
That is a great metaphor
they
for
can't
the
even- yeah.
skills of the
Yeah.
Autobots.
They're-
A crashed ship in a
Their,
volcano.
their ship crashes into the side of a volcano. What do? They just hang out in that crashed ship. They don't even do anything about making a new base.
At one point, they did build a tool shed out back.
It's
but
true.
you-
Built
but you never see that again.
They built a football field. Fucking morons.
Prime.
I'm gonna. You keep talking. I'm mad. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. You keep talking. That pisses me off.
You maybe we should like build a base. Maybe not inside.
No, Ironhide. Bring up the rigor. We need a football field.
All right.
Okay. Getting a little loopy.
Oh.
Before we're back at Autobot headquarters, but before we get to that, the Autobots, including Brawn, who were wounded in the battle, they roll out. Anything to say about that?
No. No, we're good. We can move on.
Back at Autobot headquarters, nighttime.
Oh God.
Despite the Autobots' stellar security system, which they finally installed this camera.
Yeah, we're right here at the top of Nightbird trying to sneak in. Great, you got a camera. Maybe build a fucking door. Here's
Yeah.
an idea.
Yeah.
Build a door.
Yeah. That's step one of security.
I'm glad
system.
you have a camera looking out into this big, huge fucking open garage door.
Yeah. Door is step one. Again, to Caleb's point.
Caleb's going to be mad the
a
rest of the
ship-
episode.
It's a ship crashed into a volcano.
That's their base.
But as we're going to see later, they took all the time in the world to build an elevator shaft up the spine of the volcano.
And hey, guess what that shaft doesn't have? A ceiling.
Also, why does it exist at all?
I know.
They should have episodes on occasion where they're standing there and they're like, there's like water falling on them. And it's because it's raining outside. And it's because there's rain coming in through the top of the volcano, just getting them wet.
And they rust. And that's the whole
Yeah.
impetus of the episode is
Yeah.
fuck, it's wet in here.
Yeah.
How do we deal with this?
Teletran 1 is shorted out again.
Just slipping in puddles. Whoa.
The Nightbird manages to avoid detection, stealthily strafing from the bushes into the cliffs, ultimately grappling to the tip top of the volcano. Mm-hmm. As she reaches the summit, we see that the Autobots have been modifying the inside of the volcano. It's now a futuristic elevator shaft. An elevator car makes its way to the top. It's Spike and Prowl pondering why the Decepticons would want Nightbird to begin with. But again, I'm pondering, why did you build this elevator shaft? And also, what are you doing? They go to the top of the mountain
To go back down.
Just to go back down. They don't even get out and do
Maybe
anything.
somebody had called it and then walked away, like in a hotel.
Oh, I see. Like somebody that was in the elevator before them hit 12.
Yeah.
but
And then go.
it's just some kids fucking around on the elevator.
It's Wheelie. Wheelie's in there like hitting all the buttons.
I do.
Fuck you, Wheelie. You don't exist yet.
As ridiculous as this is, I do like this part because Spike says to the effect of, I don't have the exact quote, what would the Decepticons want with another warrior? They already have a strong force. Prowl says, I don't understand anything the Decepticons do. And Spike says, yeah, it's over my head too. What's literally over his head? Nightbird.
Yeah.
Wordplay.
So to that point, the elevator reaches the top. Nightbird uses that as an opportunity to jump on top of the elevator shaft. So that is going to be her entry point into Autobot headquarters.
Ninja style.
Ninja rap.
Ninja rap.
There is a blink. It's at 9:33. I don't know if you'll be able to hit it, but like, there's a blink and you'll miss it. Where Sparkplug walks by a hallway right there.
What's he hauling? Laundry?
Well, that's the joke I was gonna make. It's obviously the Sparkplug is just doing laundry.
I like that.
Yeah, it's fun.
Is there a transformer that we don't know that we've never heard of that transforms into the washing machine that cleans the?
Oh,
Spike
what?
and Sparkplug's
Oh
clothes?
no. That's a sad life.
It's called Spin Cycle.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What's the dryer called? Clothesline.
Yeah, clothesline. It's not really a dryer at all. It's just a clothesline.
He transforms into two giant T's with wires in between
he just
them.
stands there and sticks his arms out.
And he has like a reflector. He has a clone that's on the other
Spin
side.
cycle. You know what to do.
I've got a bit of a blood stain from our last battle.
OxyClean will take care of that.
In my head, that could go two ways. That's either a recommendation that Spin Cycle is giving, or now there's another transformer called OxyClean shows up on the scene to give more laundry advice or shave off a piece of himself to throw into the load.
No, OxyClean is like Mixmaster, but just for laundry.
Did Mick never mind.
He makes things. He makes oils and
He's
perfumes.
Mixmaster, of course. Perfumes. I'm just picturing Mixmaster doing Dr. Arkaville's laundry, if he's the equivalent. Okay, let's keep it moving. Nightbird rides the elevator shaft down into Autobot headquarters. She continues her journey past all of the security measures that Wheeljack introduced to us at the beginning of the episode by walking on the goddamn walls and ceilings.
A 20 by 20 square foot area where there are detectors.
That's where they put them. Not at the entrance to Autobot headquarters.
Just in the
where you
middle
got
of the
a giant
base.
opening in a random place. But it
Because
doesn't
they've
matter.
just accepted that people are going to get in.
Yeah, and I like how the Autobots make it so that those panels light up so you can really see where they're going to be.
I kind of let that go just because, obviously you have to give it a thing. But you're right. You're right. It's ridiculous.
You're right. Okay, I agree with you. I'm glad we're on the same page.
She sneaks past a repair bay where it appears that Optimus Prime, along with Ratchet, is helping with the surgery. And then she goes into Teletran 1's main room. She opens a panel inside Teletran and steals the World Energy chip, which on screen is called World Energy Sources.
Sources. What?
Which we know what the chip's going to do.
We don't even.
It's like the John Hopkins COVID map that you can get online. It tells you where all the COVID's going on. right?
Is this episode clear at all about what this chip does?
Yeah,
it
they
shows
keep-
you the location
it is
of all the world energy
it is-
sources.
No. They say that it gets clearer as the episode goes on. Eventually,
You can draw from those.
it is
energy
revealed
sources.
you are allowed. Yes, and I'll just say it now. But I had the note later of like, is the world cool with like the U.S. having that technology?
Well, the U.S. doesn't have the technology. The
Autobots have the
do.
technology.
Yeah, but it's in the United States.
I mean, it's
I
so.
just feel like
And also, are the Autobots just using that
Why do
technology,
they
and
have
everybody
it?
just
Exact-
agrees that that's a good thing?
Why do they even have it? In
and
the
it
first
comes
place?
it's a very strange, it's a very complex, it's a weird, like, I feel like they could have made it simpler. Like, why make it a circuit that we slowly get revealed as to what it does?
Yeah, no, it's odd.
Even the way it's introduced, it's because you've got like a triple layer scheme situation. Again,
Why
you've
would
gotta,
the Autobots
you've got to
have
steal
that
the
in the first
ninja
place?
robot that exists for no reason.
Yes.
And then that robot ninja is going to take this, like, it gets the concept of the world energy chip gets introduced 18 minutes into the
I'm
fucking
not-
episode.
I will say this though,
Maybe not 18.
from the Decepticon standpoint, they're not the ones that put the world energy source chip in next to Teletran Run.
Mm-hmm.
If I was a Decepticon and I know it existed, then I would think that the scheme's pretty good.
Yeah.
Shame
you
on
want that shit.
Shame on the other side, the good guys, for setting that scenario, like making that a possible scenario.
But they also could have just sent Laserbeak to go get
That's
that
what I'm
shit.
saying.
Yeah, you're
or
right.
or
You're
Ravage,
right.
whose
They're-
purpose is to sneak.
Their solution could have been a lot easier than this. They could have just sent Laserbeak in, and he could have got it in like 5 seconds and got out of there.
I think we're getting to the heart of Rate the Scheme. But
I do.
We
Like,
haven't even oh God, we haven't even gotten to the Starscream jealousy yet.
we haven't
Yes.
even really fully unveiled the scheme yet.
Yeah.
She, being Nightbird, sneaks past the repair bay.
Now she's
Night-
fucking shit up.
Yeah, no alarm sounds, by the way, when she pulls the World Energy Sources chip.
Shit just
But-
goes dark.
But Prime is now cued to the fact that there is an intruder. Nightbird shoves off. She eventually runs into Mirage in a hallway, who gets the fuck beat out of him,
Yep.
Shaolin style.
Are you saying that the Autobot security system, when something like special is taken, that all the lights just go off?
Well,
The
that's-
lights went off.
They
I guess
did
I
go
did-
off.
okay, I did
That's
notice that.
why they're
That's-
using their headlights.
So, question: are the storytellers is the episode saying that the world energy source chip not only tells you where the energy sources are, but it's providing some sort
Utility.
of energy source
Yeah.
to the Autobot base?
Yeah, it seems to be.
Jesus Christ!
And that's why no alarm went off, even though alarm will go off here in a little bit.
And then later,
Okay,
I mean,
that explains a lot. I didn't connect
no,
those dots.
It does.
I didn't
and
connect those dots.
It does and it doesn't.
we'll
It-
get to it in a second, though. But Ratchet is able to reconnect Teletran 1 to function, and the lights come back on.
So Teletran's power is part of that power is that they run some sort of circuit through the world energy source circuit.
That's the implication.
What the fuck? All right.
Even my own personal house has multiple switches controlling multiple areas of the house.
Well, there's a main switch. You could pull that out, and it's all over.
All over. No more hot tubbing for you, Thweet.
I have a plan.
Ryan's got a button that opens all your file cabinets.
And your butt.
What? Just my cheeks just open.
Yep.
I like
No,
that.
that is some Cobra Law shit
Yeah,
right
that's
there.
Exactly.
Okay, there is apparently they have enough power because after Mirage gets his ass kicked, he sets off an alarm which allows Prime, Cliffjumper, Blue Streak, and Jazz to come to the rescue. I guess they know where the alarm was pulled, or
Probably tells you the sector.
maybe. And Nightbird, they approach. They see that it's the ninja, and Nightbird retracts her hands, reveals some wrist blades that are just intimidating enough for us to have to go to a commercial.
Yeah, it's like, fuck.
I bet it was really fun for the animators that had to make these bumpers. It feels like they had a pretty good budget and freedom to do some fun
But there's
stuff.
only like 5.
These
It's
are
true.
these are wonderful. I will say that this episode and the previous one, they're animated really well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that probably the animators had a good time with just the concepts that that the writing presented them. I mean, it's good shit. I don't see a lot of error. I don't see really any errors.
Aside from coloring errors, but we can kind of we don't really call those out anymore.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good animation.
We return from commercial. Optimus Prime says, "Don't harm her." Jazz says, "Definitely don't shake hands." You've got, by the way, just to recap, you've got Prime, Jazz, Blue Streak, and Cliffjumper. I've come back to this a couple of times. Blue Streak was my first Transformer, and I was always, as a kid, disappointed because I never saw him on the cartoon. I think he's in the cartoon more than Prowl.
I think so too. I think Prowl has more lines,
Maybe.
but Blue Streak is definitely all over the place.
Who voiced Blue Streak? I can't remember. Was it
don't
Michael
know.
Bell?
I would think it would be, but I don't know.
Well, right now you've got... No, it's Casey Kasem. Because I think you've got...
You're right. You're totally right. Yep, it's
Okay.
Casey Kasem.
So you got 2 Casey Kasems on the screen right now. Nightbird unleashes the blades from her wrists at the boys here, then executes a laser light show that would make any Dark Side of the Moon fan tingle with stony delight. She disappears. She's gone. How'd she do that? Doesn't matter. She's gone.
Yep, she disappears from the end of the corridor.
Everybody's very confused. Back at the repair bay, the bots are feeling lucky that Nightbird didn't damage them even worse than she did. But the decision is made. The Autobots got to roll out and find her. When did Ironhide get hurt? Or is he just being lazy?
He's just being
Gold
lazy,
bricking?
just laying down.
We've got the classic Optimus Prime transformation.
We also have the classic Jazz jumping down to transform, which I love.
Yeah.
And we have the classic Ratchet. I'll just stay here.
Not going with you guys.
Yeah, I don't blame him.
I mean,
I'd
his
stay
job-
behind-
his-
Yeah, you
that's his
guys.
job.
Yeah, you guys.
I have patience.
Yeah. Driving
The
through
Autobots are
desert.
rolling off through the desert, in the mountains.
Beautiful countryside.
The sun is belting down upon them, and they locate the Nightbird. She's climbing a bluff.
It's like they're in Monument Valley.
Yeah, Utah.
That's Arizona.
Arizona is what I was
you
going
go.
to say.
Very
the whole
far
time.
apart.
Sure.
Well, stacked on top of each other.
It's fine. I understand.
Fair enough.
Thanks. Still both very large geographic
Yes,
areas.
enormous states.
Optimus Prime, he says, you know what we're going to do here? I'm going to pop her in the back with a simple stun ray.
And he did.
And the Autobots climb the bluff to intercept her. And, of course, that's where I'm going to play this out loud.
Good.
She was playing robo-opossum.
He says it so casually.
I know. Shh. Like,
But seriously,
Like it's
though,
a
too.
thing.
she was playing robo-opossum.
Robo-opossum.
Also, we should make that a physical game.
Yeah. Well, it makes me. It insinuates. It insinuates that that's something that
Happens
happens
on Cybertron.
Yeah.
There's robo-opossums.
Or like or back at the base, like.
I did love this line, but I also have a deep history with possums.
Ryan loves possums.
I do.
This is not a joke.
They're kindred spirits.
They are my favorite animal.
They like trash.
They've been around for like a million years, unchanged. They have terrible eyesight. They're tiny, furry creatures that have no natural defenses except to appear scary.
Yeah, they hiss.
But you can literally pick up a wild possum and it will not hurt you.
Yeah, if it does bite you though, you have like a lot of disease. You will get a lot of diseases.
Ryan
Which
probably
is
has
not
some
true.
facts to fuck you up on that.
Because possums are pretty much immune to rabies.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of possums in my neighborhood, which I'm like, how can I cultivate this?
Yeah.
I'll let you all
The
around.
possum
My
king.
I'm the possum king. But I do have a possum that lives under my deck.
Oh, you do?
And one night, whenever I had to work the next day, so I was sleeping in the bedroom, and Wes didn't have to work the next day. She was out in the living room, and she had dozed off, and she heard the pet door open. Which is the one for Reese to go in and out. And she looked over, and there was a possum head peeking in. And she was like, no. And I'm like, oh, let the possum come in. I
I thought you were asleep.
I
Were you
was
asleep
surprised
or?
I was asleep. I was in the other
Okay.
room. When she told me this the next day, I was like, oh,
If that
that's
possum
adorable.
would have come in, it would have been bad for the possum and your house.
I know.
It never would have been able to find
But
its way
it's
out.
a-
I've been running around
it's a-
frightened and crashing
It's
into
a
things.
testament to Ryan's house that a possum would be even willing to stick its head through the pet
His
door.
house is the Autobot headquarters
Yes.
of houses.
And I had in the house I lived on Hooper Street.
Yes.
There was a possum that perpetually lived in my laundry room.
Yeah,
I thought it was a raccoon.
No, it was
No,
a
it was a
possum.
possum.
I
Okay.
remember this. And yeah, Ryan would go out there to do did you do laundry?
Sometimes.
Yeah, but if you tried to go out there, it would hiss at you.
But Gordo was fine.
You named him? I did not know you had named this possum.
This is breaking news.
You also had mice living in your utensil drawer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was
This
not-
was
if not
20 years ago.
If not living, at least
right.
scurrying about.
This was the era in which
the dark period.
This was the dark period.
when we lit Ryan on fire.
no,
a
it
little
was-
after that.
This was post that.
Oh, yeah.
He was when we lit him on fire. He was emerging from the dark period, hence the fire. All right,
That's true.
I
fine.
think
You're right.
that-
No, you're right.
yeah.
You're right. This was that was before we all lived together. Okay. Possums, interesting.
I love them. I love them. I
so
follow at the Twitter. I recommend everybody follow a possum every hour.
So she's playing Robo-opossum, which insinuates that the Autobots play Robo-opossum. What's
Or there are possums that exist, and the Autobots or all
Coinc-
Transformers
Yeah, they don't-
have developed this terminology
Right.
around playing.
they don't know what
Robo-opossum.
ninjas are, but they know what a possum is. Yep.
Or
North
just
Amer-
coincidentally, they have a version of possums on Cybertron
Called a Robo-opossum.
called a robo-opossum that
all
they're
right.
all familiar with, and it's been worked into their vernacular. That
I would not be
you
surprised.
play
that
robo-opossum.
Possums are such a resilient species that they also exist on Cybertron as well.
North America's only marsupial don't hurt possums. They're harmless.
Who's going around hurting possums? Is that a thing?
People think that they like hurt chickens and shit, but they don't.
Okay.
All right.
Way to do your research. Thanks for bringing the facts.
Yeah, I know a lot.
Possum
more about-
facts.
I love
.com.
them. I love them. They're so cute.
There's a town around here, guys. You listeners, there's a town down here called Possum Trot. You ever heard of Possum Trot?
No.
There's
Time to go. Pack it up. Let's go.
It sounds like a place where possums are sacrificed.
No, it's where they trot.
Oh,
Possum
they're
Trot.
free to roam.
For Possum Trot. All right, so we'll take a field trip to Possum Trot later this
All right,
afternoon.
we'll do a remote recording.
All right.
Nightbird kicks the shit out of Blue Streak. The other Autobots approach her, and this is where she pulls out her official lightsaber. Not only, it is the most blatant and egregious because not only do they use the sound effect, she's using a fucking lightsaber.
Yep.
It'd be interesting if they'd made it curved, sort of like a Japanese style
katana?
sword, or I think a katana is a straight sword. What
Is
would
it? Oh,
then
you're
you've got-
right, you're right.
I can't remember the name of the
I
curved
can't either.
sword, but
Scimitar?
more ninja-like.
That's-
not a scimitar,
no,
not like a Arabian Nights.
Yeah,
kind of
Arabian.
thing. Because before she pulls out her sword, yes,
bunch of
the
throwing
Autobots get showered with, I guess,
Which
they're
don't-
are they saw blades or throwing stars?
I think they're throwing stars, but they don't seem to hurt them. It's just more of an annoyance, which is incidentally, and I don't know if this is a coincidence, but was the point of throwing stars. Like they're not meant to really injure; they're meant to just like it's like
You're not
suppressing
going to come
fire.
at somebody if
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
throwing
Exactly.
throwing stars at you.
And here we go. You're right on here. We have the lightsaber, which isn't, I guess, really because it hits Prime in the wrist and just kind of
It doesn't cut his hand off.
It doesn't cut his hand off. Yeah, it just knocks the rifle out of his hand.
But then why not just make it a sword?
Yeah, because that's not as cool.
No. She knocks Optimus Prime's gun out of his hand, and Blue Streak at this point fires at Nightbird and knocks her own sword out of her hand. But at the end of the day, the Autobots can't stop her. She runs to the cliff. First, she grabs Optimus Prime's rifle. Then she runs to the cliff, and she disappears again. Why'd she steal Prime's weapon? Ninja culture. Why is she attacking us in the first place? I suspect Megatron could answer that question.
It is interesting because Prime does say it is said that the ninja takes something from their enemy, which I don't know if that's true.
So now Prime's a ninja expert.
Well, my point was
He did a Wikipedia deep dive after
well,
Spike.
that was my point. Is I don't know if that's true. First of all, in the real world, but second of all, it does mean that Prime, since learning what a ninja is, has done research on what ninjas are.
or he's just making stuff up now to act like this.
No.
Expert.
Prime is not a liar.
Decepticon headquarters. Somehow the Decepticons, as we spoke earlier, have the ability to sky spy on the Autobots.
Not even from the sky. It's like a ground spy.
Yeah.
It's a gopher.
It's at sea level.
They have
For all we know, that they've implanted like cameras behind the Autobots' eyeballs. I wouldn't surprise me. I do like the idea of this Laserbeak perched on Prime's shoulder.
Bombshell is gushing while Starscream is fuming over the Nightbird. Mm-hmm. They await Nightbird and the world energy chip that she is about to bring. I do like this commentary between Megatron and Starscream about Nightbird.
It's all been programmed.
If she returns, you mean? She's not so hot.
She's hot enough to replace you whenever I choose.
Which I think maybe some of the reason, that's a line that may be some of the reason that there's a fan theory that Nightbird and Megatron fucked.
Or if not even, maybe if not fucked, there's a thing. But that would also insinuate that that Starscream and Megatron have a thing.
I have that note too.
I
later.
like that. Where,
So it's a lover's quarrel.
Megatron's totally like bi.
I feel like Megatron's ace, actually.
What is it?
Asexual.
Have you guys heard of, there's a documentary on Netflix called Do I Sound Gay?
Nope.
It is very interesting. It's a gay man just exploring the history around the stereotype of the quote-unquote gay voice. And something that blew my mind, how Disney villains, and really just a lot of villains,
They're
a lot of villains in general, yes, are gay-coded. This idea of the sniveling, evil gay mastermind, or in the case of Little Mermaid, who's
Ursula,
very obviously a drag queen. There's not a villain in the Disney lore that I can think of that doesn't, I never put that together. They all have stereotypical tropes of
It's true,
gay
and
culture intertwined.
Wes and I have talked about this, and also but we're like, I love it, but it's like it's true.
Well, I mean, nowadays, even though it's bringing negative stereotypes and bringing them to the forefront, I think the gay community generally loves and identifies with those characters. The people I know in my life love Scar, love Ursula
is a
love
huge
Jafar.
yes.
They're totally into them.
Who's the evil queen in Sleeping Beauty?
I didn't even think about that, but Maleficent.
I know that she's very popular with goth culture and probably also. I shouldn't be talking for any kind of culture.
How dare you?
I know, but I'm saying okay.
We're back at Autobot headquarters. Ratchet has discovered that the chip has been pilfered, and he repairs Teletran and gets some power back and notifies Optimus Prime of the theft. Finding Nightbird is now more important than ever.
And this is the part where we get another bit of information about what the world resource chip, energy resource chip does, which is... It sounds like it itemizes the world's energy resources is what he says, I believe.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, to me, at this point, it sounds like it's a complicated spreadsheet pivot table. But we'll find out it's not that at all later. They'd keep upping the ante as to what this chip does.
Prowl activates his infrared. He gets a signal from the north. Or Hound activates his infrared, rather. Signal from the north. The Autobots trap Nightbird in a dead end among the cliffs. Optimus Prime attempts to bait her.
Oh, I will say right before that, that's where we get the next up the ante, where Prime says, so whoever has that chip can tap into all the energy supplies on Earth. So
right.
That's horrible.
However that works.
Everybody's cool.
That's the reveal.
So she's trapped. Prime wants to bait Nightbird with her own sword, which turns out to be a bad idea. She uses some kind of kinetic powers to just take that shit.
I like, and he says, not one of my better ideas, which at least he's self-aware.
Yeah.
She lifts the sword in preparation to kill Optimus Prime, and that's where we go to commercial. We're back. The thread of Prime's decapitation is dropped immediately. Instead, Nightbird prefers to show off with some whirlybird circusy sword tricks.
Martial arts.
She then just makes
Some
her
would
way.
say gymnastics.
She just makes her way up the cliff with the Autobots in
In Heart Pursuit.
That's right.
Care Bear Stare.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's when they shoot their thing.
The Autobots follow her up the cliff, and this is, I think, a famous meme.
I didn't know about this prior. Yeah. Cliffjumper can't jump the cliff. And that is the source of decades of ribbing against this red fuck.
And you may have script deviations connected to this?
I do not.
Oh.
It just is.
I don't, because I mentioned earlier that in the script, Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, like Bumblebee is not in the episode that we see, but Bumblebee and Cliffjumper in the script are kind of used interchangeably, like some of the things that Cliffjumper does, that Bumblebee does. But it's an incomplete script that I got, so we don't. It's still Cliffjumper here.
It should have been Bumblebee.
Yeah, I feel like it should have been.
Hypothetically.
Yeah.
It would have made more sense.
Or it's an in-joke. Or it's nothing.
I just can't. Yeah, or it's nothing. It's probably or it's nothing.
Yeah.
But it made it a forever joke.
Nightbird activates her magnetic wall walking
I do not
powers.
get this.
There could be a lot of iron in those rocks.
That's what I said. If it's the most enormous iron, Nightbird walks up a straight up rock cliff with her magnetic quote unquote boots. I don't understand how that would work at all, but.
Doesn't work very well. She falls.
No, she falls.
Yeah, there's a loose rock. She ends up falling down the cliff. The Autobots approach her. Mirage uses his invisibility power to sneak behind Nightbird and retrieve Optimus Prime's gun.
Which is weird, because just restrain her. Like,
Well, how
don't
can
give
you-
Optimus his gun, just restrain the prisoner.
She fucks them up. Dr. Fujiyama,
Well,
he built a great robot.
he did, but also remember that Bombshell gave her a chip that increases her power threefold.
All right, fair enough.
To your point, Ryan, yes. Why not just restrain her? Instead, throw Optimus his gun. He fires at her.
And now we know she's not invulnerable.
And we kind of just come to this collective decision that it's okay to use lethal force.
Yes,
at
it's
this
like
point.
free season's open.
And so Cliffjumper and Jazz fire on her. Even Prime pops her with a couple live ones. The Autobots are pulling out all the trick.
All the trick.
And Blue Streak, they each have one trick. That's how you structure that sentence. Blue Streak's rockets, Cliffjumper uses his, quote, glass gas. Even Jazz's ability to loudly amplify the infernal noise known as rock and roll does not phase the
I love
Nightbird.
that. I was like, yes, bitch, that fucking jam again. And then she throws
Some
donuts onto his speakers that stop it for some reason.
Yes. Well, Megatron's watching all this from his monitor to much amusement because he's crushing hard on this bae and he is stating his desire to perhaps make her his number 2 boo. And this upsets his jealous old boyfriend, Starscream, who slugs Megatron in the face at this point. Megatron commands his lackeys to grab Starscream and he gets caged up by Soundwave and Bombshell. Meanwhile, while all that was going down, the Autobots actually managed to capture Nightbird with an electromesh net of their own. Megatron commands his troops, we got to move out, rescue her, and get that world energy chip, prepare for battle.
Yeah. So it definitely seems like even if we don't fold in the jealousy of a love triangle, Starscream is certainly threatened by her and how into her Megatron is, and he seems very into her. The jealousy is just straight up out front, and Starscream says, "Replace me? Never!"
I don't know where it is, and maybe it's later on in the episode, but there's one part where he says something and he just goes,
Oh, it's this part where he's trapped in the net, and we will touch on that in script
Excellent.
deviations, actually.
it cracks me
go ahead
up.
and play it.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
You can't keep me in here, Megatron!
I don't see why not.
Yeah.
Cage was something I rigged up for the Autobots.
I don't see why
I'd like
not.
you to have it.
You can't replace me, Megatron.
It stops abruptly. It's like,
Yeah.
So they've trapped Nightbird. We go back to the Autobots. So they've trapped Nightbird in Electronet, which maybe try that first.
yeah, she's contained, she's unharmed. The energy chip kind of falls out of her pocket. As Cliffjumper moves to grab it, he's going to be attacked full on by the Decepticons.
This firefight is crazy.
Yeah.
This I have in this that the firefight feels to me way more like G.I. Joe than the Transformers because
It's a full-on battle.
it's crazy. There are
good
lasers
stuff.
everywhere.
It's good
It's pretty
stuff.
awesome.
Bring it on.
The chip kind of becomes a football that gets fumbled among the opposing teams a couple of times. But just as Prime acquires the chip, Megatron frees the Nightbird.
With his antimatter gun.
Where this pistol came from or rifle, I can't tell what it is.
I think
at
it's
the
a pistol.
Angle.
And
But
Starscream.
we go back to Decepticon headquarters. Starscream manages to free himself by firing a little
Nerf gun.
non-exploding rocket from his wrist, which hits a control panel that releases him from the electro cage. And his intent is to join the battle and sabotage Nightbird.
Yeah.
So he leaves the mountain base of the Decepticons. Starscream, he arrives just in time to see this full-on laser battle raging, with Nightbird turning the tide via her well-executed martial art technique. But Starscream, he sicks his null ray on her, which knocks her right out and makes Megatron very sad. And I don't understand a taunt that Starscream uses at this point.
My null ray will put her out of commission.
That did occur to me.
Hey! Say goodnight to your Megatron!
What is he saying?
He said, say goodnight to your Megatron. Like, he's like talking to her.
It doesn't.
Nightbird, no!
Hey! Say goodnight to your Megatron!
It sounds like he's saying Megatrod.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, is he
Whatever
talking-
he's saying, it doesn't make sense.
He should have
No.
said, say goodnight to your Nightbird.
Right.
That would make more sense.
Right.
But he said, say goodnight to your Megatrod. So, like, it's almost like he's talking to her. But, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. It should be, say goodnight to your Nightbird.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Megatron's very sad about the
Yeah.
loss of his night.
This is the point where, like, I feel, Starscream may have gone too far because Megatron is pissed.
Yeah.
He fucked everything up.
Yeah, Starscream has no problem revealing that he conducted this assassination. He flies off. Megatron demands the Decepticons chase him down, and we're done with the Decepticons at this point.
Yeah.
Which leads even more credence to the hypothesis that Megatron is into her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
Well,
does.
she's a great weapon.
I can, before I watched
But the way
this-
he said it, Nightbird, no.
Yeah, before I watched this, I was like, why do people think he at least had an interest in her? It's debatable whether or not she's sentient. We'll get into it in a second for me. But it does seem like I can see the credence. And here we've just paused right here where we go back to the auditorium
shittily-
with the shit where they've kind of tried to put the dome back
Yeah.
together.
We're back in the amphitheater, which for some reason everybody is still at, including Dr. Fujiyama. You rented this place out for an event,
right.
and the thing got wrecked. That doesn't mean you have to still
Yeah,
be
he should
there.
Just be back in his lab.
Yeah. Is this his lab, and I've just got it wrong my whole time in my head that his lab also has a giant auditorium?
Oh,
or-
sorry. One more real quick wordplay thing. At the end of that last scene, Prime says Megatron's schemes have backfired once again, and Starscream literally shot her in the back. So that's another wordplay thing. Anyway,
Was
I
that intentional?
apologize.
You think that was intentional?
I believe it was.
Okay.
The way it's played.
Famous scientist Fujiyama is very grateful for the return of his creation. She's been deprogrammed and neutralized, safely locked up forever.
Forever.
In some kind of metal
Why?
prison here. It looks like it reminds me of the Fifth Element a little
If
bit.
she's
Yes,
locked,
totally.
we can all agree that if she's locked up forever, that just disassemble her.
Right.
This is what I had that note too. Why not disassemble her for other projects? Especially since earlier in the episode he says she has irreplaceable parts.
Yes. Of course, the camera pans into a window in her
Well,
prison,
before-
revealing her face. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You should be.
But before that, why not just try again? It's not like you failed. Megatron just hijacked your thing. That would be like throwing away a CPU because a hacker gave you a virus.
Well, if you can't figure out how to get rid of the virus.
That's no reason to stop trying.
But also, it shouldn't be that hard. There's just a cartridge in it.
Yeah, exactly.
Take that big cartridge out.
He literally
Pull that
just
shit
stole
out.
her.
Yeah.
Well, the camera goes into Nightbird's face. Her eyes curl into a glare that
No
glows
shit.
with rage. And that's a cliffhanger that we'll never see get picked up
all-
again.
It's
We
true.
all know what's going on there. She's once again playing robo-opossum.
For the rest of the Transformers history.
Yeah, it's like
forever.
or is it forever moment. Because this is where I'm saying where her eyes glow and she scowls, which implies she is sentient.
Yeah.
Yes.
Implies that she does have a personality.
And,
so
and it implies that deprogramming and neutralization
didn't
did not,
work.
Right.
Yeah. I wish we'd revisited it.
Yeah, I know.
There's an opportunity there. Even in season 3, like bring it to 2005.
Transformers Reanimated, Yoshi, Greg.
Have Nightbird and Nergil team up.
Nurgbird.
Yeah.
Nurgbird!
We don't have to fuse them together.
Yes, we do.
But that's the team. Like they're like,
He's like, okay, we have to settle on a team name. What are we going to call ourselves?
She can't talk, so.
I know she's like quiet. Let's call ourselves Nurgbird. Nightgill.
Nurgbird.
Yeah, I like Nurgbird. Come on, let's go.
We're at the end of the episode.
Ooh.
Voice actors. We mentioned that Fujiyama was voiced by Michael Bell.
Unfortunately.
Of course, the voice of Sideswipe and Prowl. Nightbird toy. There are. She doesn't use her nunchucks or sais, and I'd like an
Missed
all-universe
opportunity.
story where she steals those from Michelangelo and Leonardo. This was way before sais were like a pop culture thing.
It's
that
true.
didn't happen until Ninja Turtles came around.
It's true. At least for Americans.
Right. Some believe the title of this episode is a reference to Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
The Megatron antimatter blaster sound effect is from the 1953 War of the Worlds.
Oh. Folgers crystals.
The fuck is this shit? Splash in your face with a shitty ass coffee.
my face.
So that brings us to the
In the real world.
Enter the Nightbird. Aired. I still have September 30th, 1985. In the American Top 40, we still have the Dire fucking Straits. So on this one, for the number one, this one was number one on the chart for 2 weeks in August.
Okay.
The Power of Love by Huey Lewis
you
and the
love-
News.
You love that.
I do, because it was in Back to the Future.
That's right.
And I
It's-
have to tie everything to a movie.
Ryan likes music if it's tied to a movie.
It's 100%
Yep.
true. If it's tied to something visual or something emotional, I
then
can
he
deal
likes
with it.
it.
Yep. Marty McFly. It's played during when Marty McFly skateboards to school, and later in the film, Marty McFly and his band play a hard rock version of the song in the Battle of the Bands edition,
Yes.
at which a character is played by Huey Lewis himself.
He's a judge.
Yes, he's a judge, and he says they're just too darn loud.
Yep.
In Back to the Future 2, the 2015 version of Marty attempts to play the song on his guitar just after being fired, but ends up playing it very poorly due to his damaged hand from the 1985 Rolls-Royce incident. Finally, it can be briefly heard playing in the car where Needles and his buddies are driving when Needles challenges Marty to a fate-determining car race near the end of Back to the Future 3. Those movies I love them so much.
Yeah, they're good. They're good.
They're sort of regarded as perfect movies, as kind of a perfect, like the whatever problems you might have with their time travel version, notwithstanding. Like they're just,
I feel
they
that
come
way.
together really well. They sew up. They just tell a story. A, B, C.
I feel that way.
It's really, they're really solid.
Most
movies.
people say one is gold, two is a very, very close in quality, and 3 is less so, but it's still really good.
I thought people looked at 2 as the outlier.
Yeah, 2 is generally regarded as the least.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Although I enjoy
But I
them
like 2 a
all.
lot.
Yeah.
I
And without
2 may be my favorite, actually. I just
I-
love Future Hill Valley.
Sure. No, when I was younger, that one was really intriguing to me. Like seeing that movie at that time, and the technology that was in it, like his self-lacing Nike shoes.
Mm-hmm.
That was fucking crazy.
I remember 2 and 2. They were filming 2 and 3 at the same time, so obviously there's going to be nods to 3 in 2. But I remember the first time I ever understood in a film theory idea of like foreshadowing. Whenever he's in the 1985 cafe in 2015 and he plays Wild Gunman, he's really good at it. And I was like, oh, that's going to be important in number 3.
Right.
And I told that to my dad, and he was like, huh, that's interesting. I'm like, oh, my God, I thought about something. That might have been the first time I realized that my dad wasn't infallible.
Was a big fucking dumb person.
What?
Oh,
Your dad is awesome. Floyd is great. Floyd is a super cool dad.
I wish I saw Floyd more.
Can we get Floyd on an episode?
Maybe.
That would be pretty cool. We'd have to pick a really good episode for that. Something that involves like
Dad.
that would have been a good one actually. That would have been a really good.
I remember feeling really weird whenever we had Ryan's 40th birthday. Floyd showed up, but he left for the roast.
Yeah, he
did
didn't
not
want to hear the
wanna
roast.
Be there for the roast for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't blame him because I have something that you don't have, which is biological children. That was a really douchey thing to say.
You don't want
No, I can only speak. You know what? I can only speak for myself. If I was in a situation, I was in Floyd's position.
Harrison's 40th birthday.
Yeah, and that was going to happen. I would myself feel. This is just me, though. I can't speak for anybody else. I would feel uncomfortable, and I would probably leave too. That's just me. There's certain things that I don't want to
hear about your kids.
Hear about my kids.
Or see them roasted in general.
Hear about my kids, see them get roasted, and I probably would feel like I don't want to make my kids uncomfortable with my presence being there. Whether or not they would feel that way at all or not,
right.
I'm projecting, but that's so I understand Floyd's. If I'm projecting on that anyway, but in a way, I probably understand where Floyd was coming from.
Yeah, I get it.
Early. Whether or not that's really what he was feeling or not.
I was hoping he had a set.
I know. If only he had like a tight 5 about what a piece of shit kid I was, because I know he's got stories.
I haven't seen him since.
Because
then.
I was a piece of shit kid.
No, you weren't.
No, you were just.
Please.
You were just.
You were not.
I would.
You didn't get the good thing about you, Ryan, is you didn't get in trouble. You were just a brooding, like kind of emotional, like just a brooding teen. And
I just all I ever wanted was to be left alone.
Right, but that's one thing that's much better than you being
a weirdo doesn't make you a bad kid.
Yeah.
No, I know.
You didn't get in fucking trouble, and that's a relief. Floyd could probably go to bed every night knowing my kid is not going to go.
It's true,
in
but
fucking trouble.
If I had me as a kid, my thought would be, "Oh my God, is he going to be a school shooter?"
That's just you though. No, I don't think Floyd would ever. I don't think Floyd would ever think that for a second.
Well, no, but it's not then.
Well, you know a lot about serial killers.
It's true.
You know better than to compare your personality as a young child.
But his dad doesn't know anything about serial killers.
Well, it's true. Also, like I know, in like a lot of times when we go on vacation, especially when I was a teenager, I was like, I just want to stay in a hotel.
You were just a brooding asshole teenager.
True. It's true.
That's not unusual.
It's not, but I can see how that's that's a pain in the ass to handle.
Well, I think there are worse pain in the ass, like kids who actually fuck shit up.
My 6-year-old is showing traits of he just would prefer to be left alone. He tells me I'll come up and he goes, "Dad, I'd really like to. I'd rather be left alone." Or the other night, he explained to me how he likes his mother more than he likes me.
Explain. Was this unprompted?
Yeah, I was like trying to interact with him.
Oh no.
And he was like, "Yeah, he's 6. I'm not like, I'm not. It's fine. There's a long way to go in his development." So anyway, I guess what I'm saying is, Ryan, your dad loves you very much.
I know he does, and I love him too.
And we should get him on an episode.
Nominated for Best Original Song at the Academy Awards was this, The Power of Love, but it lost out to Lionel Richie's Say You, Say Me.
That's a great song, though.
It's true. Number 1 at The Office.
Side note, Lionel Richie may be the best.
I know.
Lionel Richie may be the best concert I've ever been to. I saw Lionel
Austin
Richie
City
live
Limits,
a few years
dog.
ago. Dude, it was
I was
one
there
of the
with you.
most amazing concerts ever.
I was there.
High five again.
Yeah, Lionel Richie.
Yay.
music.
For people who
Don't act like you don't like Lionel Richie.
I like
Shit.
him, but I don't like concerts.
Yeah.
Number one at the box office, Commando, which we've talked about. So instead, I picked another 85 number one, which was number one for 4 weeks in March and April. Police Academy 2, their first assignment. $10.7 million opening weekend, the biggest opening in March ever up to that point. It seems like this is an 80s franchise that nobody seems to give a lot of love to.
Police Academy?
Yeah.
I think it's
grew up-
well known for being bad, although like it's like a punching bag for kind of shitty movies. But
I mean, there are plenty of
they're still
80s
fun.
franchises that just people seem to love and you never hear about.
Growing up, it was always
It was in the
always
zeitgeist.
it was.
Oh, yeah.
It was always syndicated on television when they throw a movie on network. It was the first, like 1 through 4 was always thrown up there. I went and saw Police Academy 4 in the theater.
which one was for Citizens?
Did you walk out?
Mrs.
No.
Feldman?
No, yeah. And I think that Bobcat, I could watch Bobcat Goldthwait in those movies over and over again.
He's the best. Most of the original cast reprised their roles, including Steve Guttenberg, the Goot, as Mahoney, Michael Winslow, Motormouth Jones, Bubba Smith Hightower, and Marion Ramsey as Laverne Hooks. This is the movie that introduced me to Bobcat Goldthwait, actually.
Yeah.
And he would become a cop in the later sequels, but in this one, he's a gang leader.
Yes.
I thought he was a gang leader in the first one.
No. The
He
first
wasn't
one's
in-
just them as cadets.
Right, but I thought as cadets they solved a gang problem or something, and
I don't
Bobcat
think-
Well,
was
they
the-
did, but he wasn't in that one.
He's not in the first one.
Okay.
He comes up later. Yeah. He's,
Okay, I knew he was the antagonist, but I in one of them, but I always thought that was the first one.
And I love. He's a Bobcat Goldthwait. He ended up becoming like in real life.
Oh, he's a director.
he's a
Yeah,
director.
producer, yeah.
His stories are, when you hear him like get interviewed, his stories are fantastic. He's he's a cool guy.
Yeah. He seems like he's got it together.
This was weirdly the only one in the franchise, 7 movies total, with a PG-13 rating, which I feel like is a misstep.
They all have PG-13.
No, this is the only one with PG-13.
They're all
the rest are
PGs.
R.
Oh,
Oh,
a misstep that this was PG-13.
Yeah, I just thought it was
Gotcha.
weird.
Huh.
Although this movie did crush, it had a budget of $7.5 million, the box office take of $115 million worldwide. It's the 11th highest grossing film in 1985.
Connecting back to your earlier point about this franchise not getting as much love, I wonder if that's connected. For some reason in the 90s and maybe early 2000s, it became fashionable to hate on Steve Guttenberg. People would talk about it was a meme before memes that Guttenberg is trash.
It's also.
I don't know why that would be, because he's
I don't know
great.
either.
I think that I think that those Police Academy is just very much a movie of its time, and I think it maybe it doesn't come across humorously.
Although
to people
now,
younger than us.
now that I'm thinking about it, this is a terrible time for a reboot of Police Academy.
Yeah, probably.
Like, we can't do this.
Police Academy.
Defund the force.
Yes, exactly. Yes. So, last thing in fun facts from this week. Monday, September 30th, 1985. You know what occurred to me while compiling this episode in the real world? We are now, in the year of our Lord, 2020, reviewing a show from 1985. So if we were in 1985, that would be like reviewing a show from 1950, which blows my mind.
Yeah, we're old.
This is the birth date of Fahim Rashid Najem,
Okay.
better known as T-Pain.
Oh, okay.
I understand that he is an American rapper.
That's what I've heard too.
I thought you guys would know who that was.
I would call him more of a singer, but
okay.
but
He
I'll
uses
go with it.
auto-tune. Does he use a lot of auto-tune?
He was kind of the originator, one of the originators of that movement in the mid 2000s. But he also is a hell of a singer.
Okay.
You can find a NPR Tiny Desk concert of him doing a performance, no auto tune, and it's amazing.
All right. I knew Aaron would have some information on that.
I didn't like him as much at the time. I've found respect for him way after his popularity.
Howard Stern was fired from WNBC in New York in this week, and U.S. seismologist Charles F. Richter died.
Oh, from the Richter scale.
Better, yes. No, it's not related to the Richter scale. I'm just kidding.
Richter scale was around long before
No,
the seismologist named Richter.
Yes, the founder of the Richter scale. That's it from the real world.
In the real world, there are a couple of toys
yes.
that are dedicated to Nightbird. There is one called Nightbird Shadow that was released in October 2015, which is a remold of the Thrilling 30 Deluxe Class RC figure. And there's also a new Nightbird character that just came out in 2019 that is one of the many remolds of the female characters for the Siege line. I personally prefer the remold that comes from the RC body to the Siege one, but I don't have either, and I would probably take either. If you just took that RC backpack off of it, it would look exactly like the fucking Nightbird from the animation model.
Yeah, it's really nice. Good. I like the hood on the head, and yeah, the eyes for sure.
But the Siege one, just like all the Siege toys, just kind of looks
It's
like,
not
especially the toys they made of the female Autobots. They just have so much extra shit on
too
them.
much going on.
Looks like garbage.
Yeah, not eloquent.
But sorry, toy designers. I apologize. You're doing a great
It's
job.
a hard thing to do, I'm sure. Still, do better.
make me happy.
Yeah.
Personally,
Well,
just
I'm
me.
the one spending the money on it, so yeah,
All right.
I
well,
have the power.
how about them?
Hey, written by Richard Milton and Sylvia Wilson on December 4th, 1984. Richard Milton, the writer, on the TF Wiki, the entirety of his entry is, Richard Milton is an American writer.
Okay, great.
According to IMDb, he also wrote 2 episodes of Marcus Welby, MD, in the 70s.
Wow. Okay.
Sylvia Wilson. Sylvia Wilson is an American writer. Her only credit on IMDb. I don't know if these people are real.
Is this episode?
Yeah.
You think they're
I'm
pseudonyms?
I think these people probably have more than that, but there's only so much that the internet can
They might be
capture.
pen names.
I
don't
thought
know.
IMDb captured everything. I thought that was the point, though. It's like,
That's kind of supposed to be the
Oh,
point.
really? Okay, who knows? Maybe they just, maybe they're pseudonyms. Maybe that was just the one thing they literally
like an
did.
Alan Smithy.
Maybe. This was revised by our man Ron on Pearl Harbor Day, December 7th, 1984. In the script, Dr. Fujiyama's name is spelled Fugiama.
Yeah, that's not good.
No, it's supposed to be spelled Fujiyama, but
Fujiyama.
it's weird.
Fuji Film.
Yeah. The base in this script is nothing as grand as we see on screen with the Decepticon symbol. That thing where they open up the rock and then there's that the door that opens. That's all that's described in the script.
Oh.
So that was the animators like really having a field day. Nightbird is referred to in the script several times as a she-bot. That's
Is that problematic?
Backing up to that animator.
it's just our man Ron.
Backing up to what you were talking about with the animators having a field day. This was a long episode. It stretched into the 22-minute mark, where most of them end around the 20-minute mark. They didn't need to pad it.
No.
All right, that's
Yeah.
my point.
No, it's great. Like I was saying, Caleb, it's just one of the Freeman go-tos as like in the Transformers
I
the
get it.
movie script. He
You
says
also hear Fembot.
Ladybot.
Ladybot.
Yeah,
Or is Fembot Austin Powers? I'm confusing Transformers the movie with Austin Powers again.
all the time.
And they did give Wreck-Gar those titty machine guns.
Yes, they did.
To your point, Caleb, I didn't mention like whenever Starscream is in that electric cage and he screams, "Ah!"
You can't keep me in here, Megatron!
In the script, it does say, "You can't keep me in here, Megatron," and then he tries to punch through the cage, and that's where he gets electrocuted
Okay,
and
that's what
screams,
happens.
"Ah!"
Okay,
yes.
that makes- I just like the idea of him like saying it and just screaming.
That's it. Actually, coincidentally, is way better
I agree.
the way they did it. That's pretty much it. The script was really close to what we saw on screen.
All right.
We can.
I'm the ghost of the iconic moment.
You know, I miss our iconic Jomant sound effect.
I know, I do too.
Iconic moment.
I really liked this one. I mean, I thought I don't really have a moment per se. I thought Nightbird was really cool. Her design was cool. Even though she was totally silent, her character was really interesting. She got to do a lot of cool fighting. Yeah.
I'd say my iconic moment is the last scene where they've got Nightbird's expression like, oh, she's
coming back.
She's playing robo-opossum. So I would say that, but then it leads to nothing. It's an iconic moment that goes nowhere.
Like so many.
It is the first female robotic form.
It's true for no reason.
For no reason, but whatever. I wonder if that's Ron in his 80s brain being progressive.
It was in the original script before he altered it.
Okay, gotcha. But I'm sure he had no problems with it.
No, he actually amped up a lot of the female aspect. So
Right.
As far as rating the scheme,
well, I think you don't need Nightbird to accomplish your true goal, which is to get that chip. You just need Laserbeak to go in there and steal that chip. If there's a chip that allows you to get all the world's energy and have control over it, great scheme, great idea, but you don't need 3 layers of activity to get to it.
I will say, although it's logical and coherent and straightforward, as opposed to having a third, like a whole first act that means nothing, which is just coming off of the last episode.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I gave it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a good plan. It's a little convoluted.
I think for just watchability, just watching a female ninja robot,
It's a very enjoyable episode.
Mm-hmm. So I'll give it a.
Has a great battle
7.
sequence. We got a
Yeah,
7.
yeah.
Sevens
I'll give it a
across the
7.
board.
Here we go.
I think I would say that if Megatron would have just decided to capture the ninja fembot, just say I'm going to use her to fuck up the Autobots, I think that would have been a pretty good scheme by itself.
Yeah.
But
It's not a very interesting story, though.
No, but I'm saying as far as a scheme goes, it's a pretty good scheme. I'm gonna get this robot and just have it wreak havoc on the Autobots.
I would argue
boom,
just
bam,
getting
bing.
a chip isn't a very interesting story either.
But there's a purpose, like, aside from just, like, a fight.
So
We never saw what the results of having that chip. What does it really mean to have that
You can
chip?
siphon off all the world's energy.
You know where it's located.
And we talked about this.
No, it literally Prime said with it you can siphon off all the world's energy. I don't know what that fucking means.
weird.
It's not written very well.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not
It's a
saying
weird
it's written
MacGuffin.
well.
I'll just give it a 6.
Like
then.
I just have. Does that include the core of the very Earth,
And you get promo points.
which you can trade in for a free drink at your local?
Peel it off
Gas
to see if you
station.
win Monopoly.
It's like McMillions going.
Just take it to
Alright.
British Petroleum. Get yourself a slushy. BP.
DP. All day long.
Well, this was a good episode. I guess we're done. I mean, the unveiling of the female robot.
Girlbot.
Next time on the Autopod Decepticast.
Megatron will show us his prowess with the keyboard command Control-C, Control-V.
That's copy and paste.
Thank you. I
If
don't
you-
work in an office.
I do too.
Thanks for listening, everybody. You can continue to check us out. Tell your friends, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Google Play,
Those are your friends.
and tune in. Apple Podcast users, leave us a review. Follow us on our social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all of them at APodDcast. There's the web presence, Autopod Decepticast. Ryan, what you going to put up there? If you'd like to support us, you could also visit our store, buy some merchandise, or check us out on Patreon, where, depending on your support level, you may be entitled to a number of fine goods from our store.
I will say, check out the website because I always put a lot of fun stuff
I know.
on the episode page, and I don't know if it gets any love or if
I
anybody
don't know if
cares.
anybody watches.
We get the occasional comment on the website. I like
Maybe I
it.
should just stop.
No. Should there be another place though? That
Why would you stop now?
Is there
Just because it takes a lot of time.
No.
Is there another place that?
What do you mean no?
It's
I
too
mean,
bad
no,
we
don't
can't.
stop.
It's too bad we can't like put it somewhere. I don't know. People have to like. I don't. People are totally capable of finding that spot. They just obviously aren't going to go.
I
to
mean, it's
trouble.
fine if you don't care.
It's more
fine.
functional
I'll-
to listen to a
you know what?
podcast on a
Yeah.
honestly,
podcast aggregator.
Honestly, I'll just keep doing it. I understand. I'm the same kind of
We're a
person. I don't
historic-
necessarily want to be
We're
told.
historians.
think
I don't
about the
necessarily.
archive.
I don't necessarily want to be told to go and watch something. So
I'm the same
it's
way.
fine.
I'm the same way, but I think for our own sake, it'll be good.
And
to-
for people who care,
true.
it's
It's
fun
true.
ancillary material, and we usually tweet a lot of that out too.
I guess I was just feeling sad.
no, you shouldn't.
No, your
It's good.
efforts are
They're commendable.
yes.
Thanks, guys.
You
you're
bet.
welcome.
I love
You're
you guys.
Part of the
Love you
team. All right, bye everybody.
Bye, bye, bye.
See ya. We did it.
Cells is the sponsor of Autopod Decepticast. Yes, 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 yes.